Hey guys, so I wanted to cover one question I get asked quite a lot by potential clients. And everyone sort of fears that this is the mission impossible. So the question is, can a spell work if my ex is in another relationship? And I think I covered this thing like at least once or twice, but I'm gonna try to explain some extra things now. Because I've been telling you more and more about magic and how it works. So I just think that by now you kind of can understand some stuff better. So I can like really elaborate it a bit better. So I'm actually gonna try to sort of talk to you the way I would with, you know, when I have clients that I mentor, maybe witches that I mentor. So I'm going to try to explain it a bit like that because I think you guys are already advanced enough to understand it a bit better now that you know exactly how magic works, why it works, and how important your vibration is. So when your person, your ex, is in another relationship, does it mean that you can't get him back? No, it doesn't mean that. Of course not. What you need to remember is one important thing, and I want you to kind of, if you are in such situation that your ex is in another relationship, this will be your mantra, one of your mantras. Listen carefully. People break up all the time. End of story. This is a fact, right? Because you broke up, right? Probably a couple of times in your life, and everyone around you just breaks up all the time. People break up in general. You read in the newspaper, you see on the internet, this and this famous couple broke up, got divorced, whatever, all the time, every day, couple of times a day, you will see or hear that someone break up. Sorry, I don't know, that someone has broken up. Is that right? Okay. So yeah, it's a fact, for a fact that people break up all the time. Your brain cannot resist this mantra because you will not be saying Ted and I don't know, Anna broke up. You will not be saying that. You will not be specific at all. You will not be saying that their relationship has ended. You'll be just saying that people break up all the time, which is a fact, and this is a fact, and your brain will not resist it. Because if you say, Ted and Anna, sorry, broke up, your brain will be, no, they didn't, they're in a relationship, what's wrong with you? And then you're gonna get anxious, you're gonna get in this really bad mindset, really low vibration as well. But if you say people break up all the time, your brain will be sorry. Your brain will be, yeah, they do. Of course they do, because they do, and your brain cannot tell you otherwise. It's the truth. It's the truth. It's a fact. So yeah, first thing you gotta know is that people break up all the time, even without spells. Okay, they just do. They break up. Okay, now that we have that one covered, let's talk about the spells. So basically, when we are doing spells to get an ex back and they are in another relationship, what usually happens in like 99% of the cases, I would even say 100, but I can never say 100, even though it was 100% of the cases I worked on. But I can't use that because nothing is 100%, right? So I'm gonna use 99% or okay, 95. Is that it will take longer. It will take longer than if they were single. Why? Because a breakup needs to occur and it takes time. Universe has to arrange everything. maybe they're in a really good relationship and there are no issues, so it will take time for the universe to create some. Who knows? Maybe they have some lesson with this person and it needs to play out first, so you will need to wait for that to happen. We just don't know what can be done and how, and this is why it can take quite a while. Okay, so you need to know that usually it takes longer than when this is not the situation, because in most cases people are with someone for some reason, and sometimes it's a karmic thing, and karmics don't usually last long, but they need to it just needs to play out. There is no way to stop it. No way. No spell can stop that, because they just need to learn something from that relationship, both of them, and it just has to happen, just like your karmics need to happen. It's just how it is in life. Okay, so we can never know how long that can take and what's really going on. What you need to do, of course, is to be in the right vibration, so you don't delay it. So you don't delay it even more. So basically, the issue is that a lot of people, when their ex is in another relationship, in a new relationship, they will be even more desperate because it's now seems even more impossible to get them back. So it will be even harder to get into high vibration for them. So it's really important to work on that. Okay. So let's just look at one more thing. That's a possibility here. It's possible, it's always possible that you won't be able to get your ex back for some reason. And in this case, it's usually gonna be if they're really meant to be with that person, because sometimes they just it's not a karmic. Sometimes it can be a soulmate, and soulmate relationships last long, sometimes even forever. So that could be a possibility that you just found the one, and in that case it will be really hard to separate that. So yes, those are the things that can happen, that are important for you to understand. So can it work? Yes, it can work. Have I seen it work? Yes, I have seen all sorts of things work that I was even myself very surprised with some of them. For example, what I was really, and this is not regarding the subject actually, but one thing that I get shocked with always is when players come back and they're like changed. They're like interested now. They're like doing things they weren't doing before. They're all nice. And I had it even happen to me when I was doing a spell work for a guy like that. And then when he came back, he chased me and he was totally, like gentle and caring and that kind of thing. And I was just so like, what is happening? So why does this happen? That spells, don't really change people. They can't change people. People are people and they have their free will. So why can this happen sometimes, that people are just more interested in you, that they're just like acting different? Well, the thing is, and this goes for everything, this goes for not just players, just in general. The thing is, we don't really know what people are truly feeling for you. Because honestly, people will hide their feelings quite often. Also, sometimes they don't know what they're feeling for you, because again, they're hiding their feelings even from themselves. And when we do spells, we kind of try to, obviously, to awaken all sorts of emotions and make them emphasize them, right? So this is why this happens. Also, when we do skull spells and mind work, we are like changing their mind. We are explaining to them why they should do this and this differently, and then they're like obeying us, right? So this is the combination of all of those spells that will work. But this does not mean that we've changed the person. We did not change them. It was already in them. They just didn't know it. They just weren't showing it to you. And also, they were just like stubborn about one opinion that was then changed by the skull spell into another one, because there was a possibility to change it, since they were probably considering the other one as well, but they just decided on that one and they were stubborn about it. That's why we use skull spells, right? So that's another problem that you guys have. You just stick to what somebody said and how it seemed, and you are like really stubborn about it, and you are creating yourself to be in a low vibration, because you're like, oh, but they said this, they said that, and we already talked about this. So people will say all sorts of things, right? People will say especially all sorts of things when they're breaking up with you, when they're angry at you. Won't you do that as well? People will rarely say when they're breaking up the real reason, and usually they will try not to show any emotions, because they just, they want to break up. So there's no point in them telling you all these sweet and cute and nice things, because they want to break up. But the honest truth is that you don't know what's in someone's head for real, and you don't know what's in someone's heart for real. You just know what they've been telling you or showing you. This doesn't mean that there's nothing else inside of them, or there's not potential for something else. And you have to really understand that. You can just think about it logically. So, from your own point of view, for example, I don't know, I'm sure there was a point in your life when you were like seeing someone and you were not telling them the whole truth. I'm sure you broke up with someone and you didn't really tell them the real reason. I'm pretty sure that sometimes you were suppressing your emotions from yourself and from the other person, because you thought that was for the best, you thought that was not the right person. I don't know, but people are all kinds, and they have all kinds of traumas, they have all kinds of defense mechanisms. And when you tell me, and a lot of you have been telling me, that your target is emotionally unavailable, that's such impossible thing, and I already have an audio about that. Nobody is emotionally unavailable. Okay? Nobody. There's no such thing. They just decided that they don't want to develop emotions because they're afraid they're gonna get hurt. It's usually because they were very hurt in the past, and that's why they have decided. It's a decision. Okay? It's a decision, but as you know, we can't really control that. And even if we think we are, we're really not. So they're basically usually just suppressing, or just they don't want to get romantically involved. So they will just tell you that, and they may very well have emotions that you will never know about. So same goes for when your ex is with a new person. You don't know, what's really in their heart and their head. Because often people will be like, oh, they're with someone else. This means they love this person and they forgot all about me. They're totally over me. And you can't know that. Okay? Uh, it's very possible, especially if they started to see that person right after a breakup. It's very possible that they're just suppressing the emotions for you with this new person because it's, a rebound basically. So they think they have feelings for this new person and they might as well have, but have the feelings for you really disappeared so fast? Feelings don't disappear so fast, and you know this. So basically, they're suppressing them. And then when we do a spell, you're obviously removing that block, right? That's making them suppress it. You're waking them up. So they will start, thinking about you even more, and then up to the point where they're no longer going to be able to fight these feelings and these thoughts and suppress them. That's kind of how it's going to work. So I don't want anyone to think that things are impossible, that anything is impossible, because pretty much everything within reason, of course, can happen, definitely. I don't want you to think that just because someone is now seeing someone else, they're gonna be with them forever and that they forgot about you totally. Because this is again just realistically, logically not true. And like I said, you have to pick a mantra that's very realistic, something that's a fact. So it's a fact that people break up all the time. It's a fact. You know what else is a fact? That we never really forget people that meant something to us, right? Think about it. Why do you think your ex will forget you if you are not texting them or like in contact with them? I've noticed that a lot of people tend to think that, and out of this fear, they're energetically chasing because they don't want them to forget about them, or that someone will forget you because they're now with someone else. Have you forgotten any like really important person that was in your life in the past that you just don't remember them and never think about them? You have not, right? You will remember these people sometimes and you know who they are, right? So you have to be a bit more logical with things because what we tend to do after breakups and in heartbreaks and in these situations, we tend to basically be delusional because being delusional is honestly thinking that your ex will forget about you. Being delusional is thinking that your ex and the new partner will definitely stay together forever and then this is it, that's it. So we tend to do those things and that's our ego basically, that's our fears. When in reality we just have to think of it from logical stand. So have you forgotten your exes? No, right? You have not. Have you lost feelings in, I don't know, a couple of months? You didn't. You have not. Like, I don't think you have, right? So, that is what I want you to really think about today, okay? And not just this is not just for the people whose exes are in new relationships. It's for the other people as well because they all have like fears that they will get in another relationship and then it's over, it's definitely over and they're gonna forget about you and all of those things. So no they won't. And yes, spells do work even if they're seeing someone else. They tend to take longer, so it's really for someone who is willing to be patient and because like I said, there are more things that need to be arranged, and perhaps there's some karmic lesson, so something needs to, last for a certain period of time, and it can't be interrupted. Sorry, unfortunately, maybe it can be sped up, I don't know. Maybe we can speed it up a bit, yes, but it just needs to play out. So there's something to know. Um, I hope everyone understood this. Like I said, I think you are already kind of advanced. If you've been on this channel for longer, if you've seen a certain amount of audios, listened to a certain amount of audios, and really understood how magic works. So I try to explain it so everyone will understand, but it is a bit maybe more advanced. So in my career, that's really, really long now. I've been doing this for half of my life, which is crazy when I think about it. So over 20 years, yes, unbelievable. And so that's a really long time. Some of you guys are only 20 something. Um, in that time I have seen all sorts of things, okay, and that's why I can tell you that so many times even I was shocked and surprised. um, some situations that even I was thinking, oh, I don't think this is gonna really work, and I really didn't want to take the case, and the reading was not positive. It was like, oh, highly unlikely, even with the spell work. I was telling the client not to do it, and that I don't recommend any work because the chances are super slim to none. And they would still want to do it, and then I would be like shocked when it actually worked and pretty fast. And there were a lot of situations where they were so complicated and so like weird and stuff, and it worked. And there were situations where there were, players, total players, and suddenly they were like in love and chasing and everything, which, like I said, I had a situation myself like this, and it's always a shock as well. So there's no reason to think my situation is the worst, it can't possibly work, because that's not the case at all. On the other hand, again, there have been situations when I was like, oh, this is so easy. This is such an easy situation, it's gonna work for sure. And then, it did not work. It can happen as well. Because sometimes even if you have like a situation that's like easy, the target is maybe very stubborn, or it's not meant to be, or the person is just in such a low vibration that they're blocking the spell so hard. So it's not so much about it, a lot of it is about situation, but it's also not, because if you really raise your vibration really good, and really detach and really let go, I've seen super hard situations work rather quick. And even with the examples we had, this week, the clients that have gotten their access back in hard situations, it was also the case. They really did the vibrational work, and the spell was able to work even though the situation was difficult and the target was the way they were. It still worked. So that's why it's really hard for me to answer when you ask me, is my situation hard? I mean, I can say when it's hard just in general, but I can't say if it's gonna be such a big issue, because sometimes your vibration will be the most important factor. Sometimes you just do the work and the spell will just manifest super fast. It really depends. So I can't give you unfortunately, I can't give you a time frame. I can give you any sort of like, you know, specifics. But I can tell you from my experience that magic is quite amazing. And if you worked with me and if you had results, you know how it feels, right? It feels like surreal, and you are like, what? And I know the feeling because, as I told you, I used to, not lately, of course, but in the past, I used to do love spells on my exes as well. And I know the feeling when it finally works. And I know how you're like, oh my God. So I know the feeling. So I wish for all of you to actually feel this feeling because it's quite amazing. It's like, it's really, um, it's interesting, and you just kind of are, this is all real. Magic is real. Wow. And we can actually use it to make our lives better. And then you're like, wow. And your vibration just rises even more just by knowing this. So that's it. This video, sorry, audio is super long. I don't know why. But I just thought it was an important chat to have, basically, because it's something that I get asked a lot, like on a daily basis by potential clients. And people are under this impression that if someone is seeing someone else, that's it. It's over. It's not over, guys. Remember the mantra. People break up all the time. It's a fact, it's the truth. So you just need to remind yourself of that fact, right?